Hey everyone, welcome back to Empire Build Academy. Fabian, just want to jump into something very quickly on Evony. The other day I was talking about this particular general here, which was Muri Motonari, and I was talking about whether I could use him as a wall general and replace Queen Boudica with him. And in response to this particular video, I had an Alliance member who is very knowledgeable on the game who mentioned, I'm just going to jump into it now, 1 second. There we go. Let's go down to Freakachu. This is the person. It's Jep. And they said this, which I wanted to share with you. I saw the video you made on the new general. Please, please, please don't put a mounted general on your wall. The gear on your general does 90%, math not done, but the huge majority of the defending, no matter what general it is on. If you go through defense reports, other than your T1 cav, archers usually do most of the killing. You can buff archers and ground with your main and assistant wall generals with the exact same gear as Boudica has, with little effect on what the T1 cav do. I would suggest waiting for a ground main and putting an archer general as assistant, and then gave me an example of what to do there. Someone along the lines of these two ascended would be far more beneficial as the main than Boudica, and that's with no change to the gear. Then put someone that ideally provides some buffs to both archers and siege as an assistant, and that is my advice. And building this direction provides at least some buffs to all your troops and makes your higher tier ground and range more effective. Your higher cav will either be ghosted or killed by archers, and buffing them more won't really change that. And then, of course, I thanked him for this. And then he sent an example of what somebody else has. So they've got Zhang Fei with Algernon Sydney as the assistant, which you can see from here. So this then got me thinking, what about if I put this question to other Evony players just to see what feedback we got? And you can see I've got a lot of messages in response to that, because I just posted it to random people from all random different kingdoms, all with different ideas and opinions, and I have not read them. I've saved them purposely for this to see what kind of feedback we got. And if you want to join in on doing that as well, then feel free on adding me on the game. My name is BHG, and if we just go over to here as well, you can see I'm on server 1429, and those are my cords there, as you can see, 1429 0648 0434. So if you want to get involved with some of these questions that I'm going to start firing at people to get the answers to certain questions, then please do consider adding me as a friend on that, and then I can start firing these at you. So the question I threw at everyone, I threw the same question, was just asking a few people to get some opinions on who would be ideal to use as a wall general if going for a general leads the army, such as a new mounted or ground general. This response here is, I'm using Stephen on my wall, so are most players here, to try to help in tanking siege damage from big rallies. I'm going to send you Tiger Claw's base and you can get in touch with him. Whatever it tells you, I learn from him. So then they've sent me the cords for Tiger Claw. So that was the response there. I will get in touch with Tiger Claw to see what advice he has for me. Let's go back to these ones. This one is a different one. Let's see what kind of response we get for this one. Hey mate, there are some for each type that I think would work for each troop type. Siege, Champlain, Morris de Sax, Stephen. Range, Godfrey, Subotai, James Cook, Gonzalo. Cav is Hakan, Chengyajan, Lee Nayamasa, but I still believe Boudica is best for Cavs. Ground, Elise, Frigg, Maria, Carolina, or Zhang Fei. After looking again, Elise is mainly leading the army to attack, but I believe the others should work as a wall gen. So again, some different options there. Let's go into the next one. Got a really big one from this one. Queen Boudica is probably the best choice of the tavern wall generals. I went a different way myself. I'm currently using Jadwiga with William Marshall. Soon I'm going to get rid of Marshall and use Isaac Brock. And we've got a Jadwiga fully ascended with William Marshall there, Isaac Brock. I think using Brock is a must, as is the only wall general with a covenant. I've also seen Leonidas used. I have no experience with him, but he seems like a good ground mounted option, also available in this tavern. I think I may have missed the point in your inquiry. Using a regular general as a wall general, I've seen a few low-level players do this. I've not seen any mid- or upper-level players do that. Can't personally give you any up or downside, other than if the general says when general leads, it's possible their buffs may not take effect. So I've asked some of the more knowledgeable players, and the consensus is leading the army, general can be used on the wall, which is something I was already aware of. If it says leading the army to attack, this is not something that would work. But leading just general leading the army is okay. So we've got another one as well. Well, it all depends on your in-city troop counts. I have Boudica as my main general, and assistant used to be a cav leading the army as I was a T1 trap. But for a trap keep, percentage won't make much difference, and big players used to debuff my in-city cav by 50%. As I had all flat on all my gear and dragon, I was having good defense as a trap keep. Then I realised and changed my assistant with a ground leading the army and start building my troops as ground is strong against archers and siege. So if you're planning to build other troops also like ground or siege, you should use ground siege wall general, but I feel siege is better to build once you are over K40. We have 2 more to go, and this is this one. Got a decent response from Rect. As a rule for a wall general, you want a well-rounded general. Leo III is what was popular among the big accounts on my server before the merger. Another good, well-rounded wall general would be George Dewey. You could even put a debuff general on your wall if you wanted to. But what's more important is the gear and the refines. Personally, I would go with Akmenade because you would have all your sub-generals wearing that gear as well. That way the 6-piece gear debuff would stack. Now, he has also added something there. Now, don't judge, I have gotten around to refining him yet, but he is a work in progress. We're all a work in progress on here. So this is what they are talking about. Now, you see the set attributes, the bottom one, 6 out of 6. That is a debuff you get for having all 6 pieces. That's something I've already started doing, which is the 15% of enemy troop attack debuff. That covers all troop types. Again, don't judge as I haven't gotten to refining yet, but here's one of my sub-generals. I also have something very similar, which we can have a look at in a minute. So this is what I mean. So my wall general plus 8 sub-cities equals 135% enemy troop attack debuff for all troop types. In other words, the debuffs are stackable, meaning they add up, and it's good because it covers whatever the army sends at you. Now, I use Zachary Taylor, but he's what I've got now, and it's not that he isn't a good general, but if Ascension is important to you, he is literally as close as you can get to being impossible to get copies of. The most I've seen is 3 copies. Excuse me, 3 red Sarsa, 6 copies, and that was pure luck. I've only ever seen one, the one I have, and many others claim the same as me. But anyway, that is the answer to that. And this one, I was thinking the same about new mounted general. Going to have to run numbers on him. My advice would be, remember the basics. Compare all the stats from all the skills and specialities on a spreadsheet so you can compare and know what your endpoint is. Think about the troop types and levels you are looking to use as a defense. Make sure they have unattributed buffs, i.e. mounted troop HP, not attacking mounted troop HP, etc. Try and avoid as much as possible buffs that don't support defense, such as march size, etc. Check the compatibility with an assistant. Check they can take the max skills books you want, quite important and sometimes forgotten. Check Covenant stats and that you can acquire and level the 3 support generals. Check you have the gems, rune stones, Covenant stones, Ascension stones, etc. to max its stats out. And anyway, keep up the good work, bud, and enjoy challenge if you're in, which actually I'm not at the moment. This is something I need to be getting involved with when the time arises. So let's go and have a look at what I've got, and let's have a look at what sparked this whole conversation off in the first place. I have Queen Boudica as my wall general currently, and if I go over to here and just have a look at the defense general, so I'm running with Queen Boudica, 5-star ascended, and ignore Shah Jar because I normally put Isaac Brock on there as the assistant. I was thinking, could this guy be potentially used as a decent wall general? The stats there increases mounted troops attack and defense by 55% and ground troops and mounted troops HP by 35% when general is leading the army. Now, of course, that would be useless to your T1 troops because you need flat refines, so the percentages running on a T1 troop would be really poor. So you would need a lot of mounted in the higher tiers for this to be beneficial. So I was just thinking, is this someone you could use if you was going for a defense style account? And that's what sparked the question off. The reason being is because I've been saving all my general tokens, which I'm sure many of you are aware if you've watched some of my videos, and currently I'm on, I think it's 70, 62, 68, 70. Yeah, I've got 70 different general tokens, which of course, if you use all in one go, gives you a great opportunity to ascend to a 5-star. And that was my thought process behind, should I use these for a wall general? And the consensus from what I'm reading there is you can, but it doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference in buffing because it's all your equipment which is doing more from what I just read. I don't know if maybe I was misunderstanding. So going and having a look at my generals here in the subordinate city, and you can see these are the different ones I've got, and they should all have the Parthian axe, which the majority do. And talking about that enemy troop debuff, which was mentioned before. So let me just have a look at this for you. So this is what was mentioned, was this enemy troop attack here and the debuff that is provided. And you can see that's minus 18%. But if you started doing that across all your sub-city generals, and then you've got the other buffs as well, such as the enemy ground troop HP and enemy range troop HP as well. So all these different debuffs all doing the same thing. And you can also see on this particular one, in city ground troop defense 33%, which would mean that having some decent tier ground generals higher up would also be of use. So let's just come back off that. Again, let's have a look at another one. And pretty much I've got all of them to Parthian now, I believe. Although I do think there actually is one that I haven't. Pretty much on all of them. So you can see again, talking about that stacking, that 18% times 6 is quick maths, 60, 48, 108% already being debuffed on the enemy troop attack there. So we can see that that's making a difference. And obviously I still need to do a bit of work as well on these stats as well, which you can see I haven't really got in, but it's so expensive that it could take some time. So anyway, question to you people out there. I've thrown it to a few of the people I've got added as a friend on my Evony account, but throwing it back out to you now. I'm very close now with all the general tokens. I'm not far off. I'm pretty much able to take the gamble and go for this with anyone that comes out. Do I go for a mounted general, ground general, range general, siege general on my account? And the idea is that I'm going to build some of these higher tier troops and potentially go for a T1 defense strategy. Or do I wait for someone that could be potentially released as a wall general? We've not had one for a while. Isaac Brock, I think, was the last one that we had. So surely somewhere around the corner, maybe even in time for K50, a wall general will be released. So that's my question to you. Who would you personally pick? What would you use them general tokens that I've got saved up? I've got 70 now saved up. And what else could I do to potentially improve that defense? I've got that Parthian armor. I've got that Parthian armor across many of my subordinate city generals. So I'm getting closer all the time. But like I say, the most important thing for me is it's taken a long time to gather those 70 general premium tokens, and I want to use that correctly. Would you even say as well, don't use it on a wall general and just get a decent general that I can use in attack? That could be a potential option. Don't even waste it on a wall general and actually use it for someone that can be used in PvP. So throwing that over to you, leaving that with you. Look forward to your responses. Please do add me as a friend if you would like me to throw these questions at you as well. If you're someone who's got great knowledge about the Evony game, that would be awesome. And I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching. Please do help support the channel by liking this video. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider doing that. It really does help out the channel. And I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.